Now let's move to the most talk about topic in the recent time, which is your Paytm payment bank issue. See, Paytm is an app which help you in doing UPI payments, and it also has a payment bank. Okay, so why it was in news? Let's see that. Reserve Bank of India has barred, which is your Bankers of Bank, barred its payment bank subsidiary Paytm Payments Bank Limited from obtaining further deposits, top-ups in accounts or wallets from January 29. It was after an audit report revealed persistent non-compliance and continued material supervisory concerns in the bank. So the reason here is persistent non-compliance and continued material supervisory concern in the bank. Okay. Now it was also barred from onboarding new customer in March 22. So it's not the very first time that they have been asked to stop certain activity. It was in March 22 as well that they were barred from onboarding new customers, and as a matter of fact, since 2018 there were multiple supervisory actions which were taken, and they were also asked to have a separate auditor, independent auditor who can audit their reports. So there were multiple steps which were taken in past 3 to 4 years. However, the recent is the most stringent type of punishment kind of a thing, where the Paytm Payment Bank Limited, that is the Paytm's bank subsidiary, has been barred from taking any deposits. It cannot take any deposits, any top-ups in accounts and wallets. Okay, so you cannot even use the Paytm wallet. So if you see what is the RBI has instruction और इसका impact in general public किस को कैसे होने वाला है. Top-ups in prepaid instrument is also barred, that you will not be able to use FASTags. National Common Mobility Cards. Present customers would, however, be allowed to use existing balance to avail the services. So cards वगैरह के अंदर जो top-up connected banks का है वो नहीं हो पाएगा after 29 if it is linked with the Paytm Payment Bank Limited, and we'll discuss how this can be changed. Okay. Now it has been prohibited from carrying out any banking service in nature of APS, IMPS, etc. Bill payment UPI नहीं कर सकता. ठीक है. But इससे क्या UPI payment impact होगा? We'll discuss this. So just stay tuned. Now it has also been directed to terminate at the earliest or before February 29 nodal account of its parent company Paytm payment service, and it has to settle all pipeline and nodal account transaction by March 29. ये deadline दिया है, March 29 तक सारी settlements करनी पड़ेगी. Now इसके अंदर हमने एक टर्म देखा नोडल बैंक. We'll discuss हम UPI का स्ट्रक्चर, नोडल बैंक क्या है, धीरे धीरे आपको ये सब समझ में आएगा कि कैसे कैसे एक्टिविटीज को ब्लॉक हो जाएंगी या कैसे उसे इवेड किया जा सकता है, और इज इट फिजिबल और नॉट फिजिबल. बट बिफोर वी गेट इनटू द डिस्कशंस ऑफ ऑल दीज थिंग्स, लेट अस फर्स्ट बेसिकली अंडरस्टैंड कि पेमेंट बैंक होता क्या है. सी, पेमेंट बैंक वर द इंस्ट्रूमेंट व्हिच वर ब्रॉट बाय द गवर्नमेंट इन 2016 on the advice of Nachiket More committee in order to ensure financial inclusion. So that you can reach the nook and corner, because there are small banks, you can move it. उनका structure same है, they just can't take deposits and they cannot give credit. So that is the difference between the two. However, prepaid instruments में they can give, prepaid money they can give. So it was introduced for financial inclusion and by RBI on the advice of Nachiket More committee in 2016. This is the basic premise of Paytm Bank. Now objective क्या था, as we discussed, financial inclusion by providing banking services to small depositors, migrant laborers, low income households and other underserved segments of the population, so that you can reach the nook and corner, because we were on the mission of digital India and it got even widespread post the COVID pandemic. Now services क्या क्या है, they can accept deposit, Okay. Issuing prepaid instrument and debit card. Debit card they can, but credit card they can't, because that is a kind of loan. So they are not allowed to serve any sort of loan. However, they can do it. They can do lending activity with a third party, but on its own, a payment bank cannot do that. So they facilitate money transfer and remittances. What we use Paytm for to transfer of money. So that is something that can be, money transfer is allowed, deposit up to a limit, which in turn is I think 2 lakh rupees when it comes to Paytm. Then issuing prepaid instrument and debit card they can issue, and they can providing payment and settlement services including mobile banking. That's what we use Paytm for. Okay. Now, if you see restrictions क्या है, as we discussed, they cannot do any lending activity, so loans और credit card तो नहीं दे सकता, ठीक है? और they cannot accept deposit exceeding a certain limit from a single customers. Investment in financial products like mutual funds, insurance is also restricted, ठीक है? Ownership क्या है? Payment bank can be owned by entities including telecom companies. Here you have Airtel. You have Airtel Payments Bank. Then business houses and non-banking financial companies. So Paytm and all these. However, entities with an existing non-banking business are not allowed to set up payment bank. So these are the one who can set up the payment bank and who cannot set up. Airtel Payment Bank, Paytm Payment Bank, India Post Payment Bank, and these are the example of payment bank in India. Now, if you see the issues क्या है? See, I'll just take you once through the nodal bank. See, now let's here first see what are the nodal bank. So this is, you are a customer, ठीक है? You will, let's first see the UPI structure. Just give me a second. See now, if you see here how a UPI transaction happen, ठीक है? So this is your Paytm. You will and this is your merchant जिससे आपने सामान खरीदा. This is a merchant from whom you bought some product. Okay, and you are using consumer Paytm to pay UPI payments. Okay, so you use Paytm, and from Paytm the money is being sent to merchant, and it is not occurring directly. Here you have a nodal bank in between. Now what is this nodal bank doing? जो भी पैसा आपने इसको ट्रांसफर किया, it will stay with the nodal bank. यहाँ पे नोटिफिकेशन चला जाएगा, but in reality it is T+2 कि वो पैसा ट्रांसफर होगा मर्चेंट के अकाउंट में. Merchant is the seller of any product. Okay, this is how it is occurring. अब क्योंकि Paytm का जो नोडल बैंक है वो Paytm पेमेंट बैंक है. तो अगर आपने किसी ने भी यूपीआई आईडी बनाई है @ के बाद जो भी लिखा आता है, दैट इज योर नोडल बैंक अकाउंट, ठीक है? इफ यू हैव अ यूपीआई आईडी विद पेटीएम, देन योर इट कम्स लाइक पेटीएम @, and if you have it with phone pay, you comes like YBL, right? YBL means it is with Yes Bank. HDFC का, sorry, GPay का HDFC है. And if you see Amazon का APL है. Amazon का APL मतलब Amazon पेमेंट बैंक. ओके, सो अगर आपने ट्रांजेक्शन इस नोडल बैंक से बंद कर दिया तो यूपीआई ट्रांजेक्शंस विल गेट इम्पैक्टेड अनटिल एंड अनलेस जो पेटीएम है somehow transfer its nodal account to any other account before 29th of February. It can be to Yes Bank, it can be to HDFC Bank. अगर वो नोडल बैंक अपना ट्रांसफर कर लेते हैं उसके लिए यूपीआई आईडीज चेंज होंगे, क्यूआर कोड्स भी चेंज होंगे. एंड ऑल्सो जो मर्चेंट हैं they also have an account with the Paytm payment bank. They will also have to shift their account, and this all has to be done by the Paytm before 29 February if they want the smooth transaction of what is going on right now. If they will manage to do that, because it's a huge chunk, some 30 million, so if they can do that, then it is possible. Other than that, it might impact the UPI payment as well. So if the nodal bank has been cancelled, so this is the current scenario. Now let's move back to we were here, right? So this is your customer, and then this is your e-commerce website. Payment gateway is your Paytm, and this is the nodal account, and this will be delivered to any seller, and this is your time taken to settle the payments. This is how the structure of a nodal account. So this was impacted. Okay, now if you see this here, so what has Paytm, what has Paytm done wrong with respect to the payment bank that it has been banned? There are 2-3 things. First of all, as the RBI has mentioned, there is a non-compliance with RBI. Governor said that the regulated entities were initially nudged to take corrective actions, and they were given sufficient time also, but they were non-compliant. As we discussed, they were asked to have an independent auditor, and many such steps were asked to be taken, which as per them is not compliant. And then ways to open Paytm बैंक अकाउंट. ठीक, सी जब भी आप रजिस्टर करोगे पेटीएम पे, इनिशियली व्हेन इट केम इन 2016-17, इट वाज मैंडेटरी फॉर द पीपल टू ओपन अ पेटीएम बैंक. ठीक है, नाउ बैंक अकाउंट, पेटीएम बैंक अकाउंट उनके लिए खोलना बहुत जरूरी था, मैंडेटरी था. तो और दे स्टार्टेड गिविंग इंसेंटिव्स ऑल्सो लेटर ऑन मर्चेंट्स को कि इफ यू विल ओपन यू विल गेट सम 50 रुपीज if you will allow. As a result of which a chain reaction बनना शुरू हो गया कि इन्होंने 50 बंदों के खुलवाए, इन्होंने 50 बंदों, a chain started developing to opening bank accounts. However, the intention was pure that they wanted higher penetration of financial services in nook and corner, but the incentive they gave were misused by the people due to the flaws inside it. And as a result of which it was found that the consent to open Paytm bank were not given by the consumer itself, but given by these the people who were doing the salesperson or marketmen. Okay, so as a result of which it was figured out that over 10,000 accounts were found to be linked with the same PAN to their accounts. So this also create a concern about money laundering. So एक तो irregular and non-consensual bank opening. ठीक है. Also, if you see 10% stakes in the Paytm payment bank belongs to China. And this was also find out that some 1,000 accounts were linked with the same PAN. So as a result of which it shows that there are some sort of money laundering activity can be going on. However, there are still investigation going on with this part. But we are yet to see how it is going to happen. But since China's involvement is also there, so 10% stakes are with China, it is also speculated that the intention could have been a data theft from Indian financial services, right? So that is why there is a ban on the Paytm payment bank as of now, and we will see how they'll move out of this. The thing that they have to do is to shift their nodal bank to some of the established banks like Yes Bank and HDFC, because only these are the banks who have the infrastructure to actually cater to the services of some 30 million people who they were providing services to. So that is one thing that we'll be seeing. So this was it with respect to the issues with respect to the payment bank. Now let's see the impact. We have already discussed this thing. So again, this thing, it could impact 300 to 500 crore on its annual EBITDA. EBITDA means earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. So it can cause a 300 to 500 crore debt losses to Paytm. So we'll be looking forward to this, how the things will be turning out. But I hope the concept which is important from the UPSC point of view, that is what are nodal accounts, and you know how how it is functioning, and you have a clear conceptual clarity with respect to the UPI payment and interface, and what are payment bank. These are the three things that you should know. What are payment bank? पेमेंट बैंक क्या है, देन व्हाट आर नोडल अकाउंट्स, ठीक है, एंड देन द यूपीआई. So if you know these three things, you are done with your needs with respect to the exam. That is something that you need to know for your exam. So this was it for today. I hope you have understood